The Alex Hormozi Book Launch was one of epic proportions, not just in the massive volume of books that he sold, but also in the volume of people that attended his virtual live launch and then talked about it for weeks and weeks after the launch. I mean, it was all over my Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn feeds because people wanted to talk about this launch. And now, inevitably, people are coming to book launchers going, I want an Alex Hormozi book launch. So if you're dreaming of selling hundreds of thousands of books in a virtual event attended by hundreds of thousands of people, well, this video is for you. Hey there, I'm Julie the Book Broad, founder of Book Launchers, a full-services nonfiction book self-publishing company, helping you write, publish, and most importantly, promote your book to grow your brand and your business. And let's be clear, Alex Hormozi's book launch had one goal, and that was to feed his business at acquisition.com, where he's buying businesses. He makes a ton of money coming into businesses and helping them grow. He doesn't need to make money from a book, but man, he also made money from selling books. Now, first, if you don't know anything about this launch, he streamed it. I'll make sure the link is in the description below so you can watch it. He did it like a webinar pitch. He laid it out pretty thick following the typical webinar sales formula. Then he dropped the bomb that his course was free. And his bonus for buying 3 copies of his book was a hat. And he was selling the books direct, not through any specific platform. Direct. Because he doesn't care about making a list, and he could have. Well, I don't know that he doesn't care about making a list. I don't personally know Alex. But why would you care about making the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list when you're on a direct path to exactly what you want, which is to be a known name for buying and growing businesses? You don't need Wall Street Journal to say you're a bestseller when you can flex that sales skill in front of hundreds of thousands of people live. Walking around my WeWork office in Las Vegas, I see his book in many of the offices, and I see his free hat on desks and heads. I mean, I don't need a list to know he sold hundreds of thousands of books for his launch. And because his book is still ranked in the top 1,000 books on Amazon, I know he's still selling a ton of books to this day, months after launch, which tells me the book was really good too. Now, I've bought it, but I haven't read it yet. He hosted this session at a Las Vegas War Studios. Word is that he spent millions on that launch, and with all the ads to get people to know about the launch and register, and then all the work that went into getting people to attend, plus renting that space out and streaming it, well, I believe it. So the first thing you need for an Alex Hormozi launch is a few $1 million. And a back-end offer, and a plan that justifies investing that much money into your launch. A friend of mine watched the launch, bought the book, and filled out the form at acquisitions.com. He said that someone called him within 10 minutes to talk about his business. They walked him through some overall numbers, determined he needed to add a couple more $1 million to his annual revenue to make this worthwhile for both sides, and then the call ended. He was so impressed by the entire system and process. He said it is so dialed in. They know what they are looking for to create a win-win, and they are jumping on every opportunity to find it. So I'm not joking about needing millions, but of course, he stands to make many, many more millions by finding the right businesses to invest in and grow. So it's a smart investment for the long term. But let's talk about a couple other really important factors that I've already touched on, but I want to make it explicitly clear that were factors in the success of Alex's launch, because it wasn't just money that made this so epic. One, this was his second book, not his first. His first book was also successful, but he didn't do a mega launch for it, at least not one that anybody I know was talking about. Now, I didn't actually know anything about that book launch because he wasn't on my radar at all when that book came out. One of my business coaches, Alex Sharfin, had talked about how he had worked with Alex and Layla before they sold their previous gym company. Then my friend Devin recommended his book, so I bought it in audio and print and listened and read it. And then at that point, I was loosely following him. But his launch ads were all over the place. So I definitely got registered for his book launch at least a month in advance and watched the beautiful ads in action after that, not only to get you to register, but then to make sure you attended. Now, one thing I don't see anyone talking about with Alex Hormozi's recent book launch, besides how he strategically planned this, I mean, in the first 15 minutes of his launch, he even said this launch was 4 years in the making. So everyone wanting the Alex Hormozi launch, but wanting it in 4 months, take note. This was well planned and elegantly executed. He launched book 1, let it build momentum for 2 years, built up his audience even further, running ads, generating a ton of content, and then running a lot of ads to specifically generate people to show up for this launch. That takes a lot of strategy and planning. But beyond that, let's talk about the fact that he's clearly employed some kick-butt YouTube strategy, and he just leaned into being him. I mean, some marketers were even offended at his launch because they felt like he was making fun of how so many internet marketers do webinars. And that's what's different about Alex. He is who he is. He isn't copying other people. He's figuring out what works to get where he wants to go, and he executes on that plan. It's why I recommend the question you ask shouldn't be, how do I do a launch like Alex Hormozi? It should be, how do I use my book to get where I want to go and execute on your very own strategic plan to get there. But going back to what he did, Alex's YouTube channel became active in 2018, but he really started cranking on content in 2020. He didn't wing this though. There's a lot of strategy and expertise behind this, which is why there's some views even on those old videos, which is unusual for a lot of us YouTubers. Our early videos tend to not get a lot of traction while we figure things out. My guess is that he invested in some amazing YouTube experts to make this happen. But you can see right around the time that he launched book 1, he started to really ramp up content creation and put on the gas leading into this launch. I mean, he released at least a video a day between shorts and long form content. The other thing is his back end. I touched on this at the beginning, but acquisitions.com is geared towards training you to build a business he can one day buy after you've grown it. It's a beautiful, well-oiled machine full of high-value free content with a very clear vision of where he wants to go. Yes, he's making money selling books, but again, that is not where his money really is. I'm sure every penny he makes from book sales is going back into the funnel for him to feed his acquisitions.com business. It's beautiful, it's brilliant, and it's not going to work for you. You don't have his back end. You don't have his team. You're not Alex. I mean, just going back to this YouTube content, let alone all the content he produces for his social media, he's producing a ton of content and doing it with a very clear message and market. I mean, 1 million subscribers have signed up in the course of probably 3 years. I've been doing this steadily for 6 years and don't have 100,000 yet, but you can help me get there. You can subscribe to the channel right now and comment down below. So you can't hire book launchers to give you an Alex Hormozi launch because you're not Alex Hormozi, but we can give you a launch that aligns with your big picture goal. My team will help you to think through the strategy and execution. They'll help you with website builds, reader magnet creation, email marketing setup. We'll help you by running Amazon ads, pitching you to podcasts, influencer outreach, media outreach, bookstore setup and outreach, and so much more. And while we're helping you write and edit the book, we'll be working with you on your platform building. And we'll make sure your book is angled towards your big picture goal. And if you haven't already, grab a copy of Self-Promote and Succeed, because that book breaks down big picture goals to get to the right strategies and the tactics to execute to get you there. Be you, because Alex Hormozi is already taken, and most of us haven't exited a business making multi-millions that we can now reinvest into building a new gigantic venture. You can build towards that, and your book can be a really strategic tool on your way to that, but it's just not reasonable to think you can copy some of his ads, post some videos like him, and voila, you have the same success. He's playing the long game. Like I said, if you want to start a business, he'll train you so that in 5 or 10 years, your business is where it needs to be so he can buy it. That is a true long game. And if you can look at your goals like that and strategically use your book and point it to where you want to be in 5 or 10 years, well, that's going to be a great plan to get you where you want to go. Someone said that he thinks in decades, not days. And that was obvious with his book launch and his business back end. All right. Step 1 in having your own big launch is an author platform. So to help you with that, here's what you need to know. And you definitely want to make sure that you're actually writing a great book, because the momentum from a launch like that will hit a giant wall if your book sucks. So let's make sure you've got a great book as well. Both are fabulous, so click on over and I'll see you there.